Go for it.
What is up? It is me. It is I. I am the greatest there is, the greatest there was, the greatest there ever will be. I am greatness personified myself. Yes, yes. Stone it greatness, and I'm here. I'm here with the man of the hour. I am here with the one and the only. He is your king, my king. He is the man that they come from all across the world to see. So show some respect and bend the knee. For he is the king who wears the crown that hangs 2 inches from the ground. He is the one, the only King Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. Oh, no, stop. You guys are too kind. You're too kind. Stop. Please stop. Oh, no, don't stop. Keep going. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right, that's good.
All right.
That was fun.
We got props and sound effects and cutaways now, guys. We are growing up here. Yeah.
No, so thank you guys so much for watching the GreatMines Show. I don't think I need to introduce us after that introduction. But I do want to say thank you to all of you guys. Before we jump into our topics and what we're talking about, I would like to just tell you, make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to the page. Also, join in the comment section. We want you to be a part of this conversation. We got some good stuff we're going to talk about. So let's just jump right in. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, so first up, all right, it is the gift that keeps on giving. Guys, we said it last time. You know, we were hoping that we were done, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're not. More news came out. And so we're going to call this segment, since it seems to be a running segment here on the GreatMines Show, we're going to call this segment the Zombie Wendy Apocalypse. All right.
That's what it feels like. It just won't die.
It won't die. It won't die.
And I'm not saying I want her to die. I'm saying I want this stuff to. Hell, she's giving us some good stuff to talk about too.
Yeah. So, you know, so yeah, we're going to be talking about that again. And then, then we're going to make some announcements, guys, because I don't know if you've heard, we haven't heard until today, but we know the houses who are going to be competing on this season of Legendary.
Yes.
I'm getting tongue-tied. I don't know why. But we know who the houses are. We're going to announce them here for you guys. And we're going to announce a special event that we're doing. If you were watching on the King's Instagram earlier, all right, you guys are going to know that we have something planned for the season premiere on Thursday. We're going to announce it here a little bit later. Yeah. And then we're going to get a little serious.
Something informative. I think that we think that people should know. Sony brought it to my attention. We always see stuff going on in the world, but like we don't understand why it's happening, what the repercussions of these things, what are like the origins of some of these things that we're experiencing. We just know, oh, this is happening,
right? And
it's crazy, but like we'll get into that. But it's an informative worldview,
right? So we'll get into that, and it centers a lot around the Supreme Court leak.
Yeah,
everything that's been coming up.
Yes.
So we're going to put that in
perspective. There's been a lot leaking.
Yeah, I know. I mean, hey, and the thing about it is, it affects a whole lot of leaks. All right. So true. You know, we're going to talk about the leak that affects a lot of leaks. All right. So yeah. So that's what we got on deck for y'all today.
All right. So the Wendy apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first thing I want to say is I said for 2 or 3 weeks straight that she needs to pivot. And guess what she decided she wanted to do? She wanted to pivot.
Right.
No, I need to read this one article because there was a situation where she saw someone else had a podcast with was iHeartRadio. She wanted to be on iHeartRadio, and she wanted them to front $1 million. It was $1 million deal she was looking at, or that she wanted to happen.
Originally,
the article kind of like put out like, oh, she's looking at this deal. Then it comes out that allegedly it's not that she's looking for the deal or looking at a deal. She's looking for a deal.
Right.
And she wants that. But
and
the
she
thing
wants
is,
it wasn't $1 million up front.
Yeah.
It was, she wants a Joe Rogan deal.
Yes.
That Joe Rogan deal is $100 million.
That's $100 million.
That's what she wants. And iHeart iHeart does not spend that money on their podcast.
Not up front. Anyway, she wants everything up front.
and like and like yeah, so it's like yeah, one of those situations where what are you doing? You know what I
Right.
mean?
So, but we can talk about Wendy all we want,
mhm.
good, bad, or indifferent. But do you think she's put in the work to deserve it?
I think that she in the podcasting realm, and that's the thing. Joe Rogan didn't walk in to Spotify with $100 million deal.
Of course.
Okay, he put in the work to build, you know, that particular brand
Yes.
and build a name for himself in that space. If you can justify it, yes, but I don't think she has
Yeah.
the audience. Like I think that she has a very strong audience, but you have to look at it plain and simple. All right, the highest ratings for the Wendy Williams show came when Sherry Shepherd
when
was
she wasn't on
hosting
it.
the Wendy Williams show.
Yeah, her
Okay,
highest rating. Can't hear it.
that is the case, you know, and I'm sorry for that. You know, I'm really really sorry for that. I'm really sorry that that happened to you on your own, you know, show, but it is what it is. So obviously you have power because you commanded a daytime talk show slot, a prime daytime talk show slot, you know, syndicated and everything for so many years. So you have power you have that pull power.
Yeah.
You know, and you have pull power to where these podcast companies are going to seriously consider it. But
So
do you have enough to demand that? No.
Well, here's the thing. With Joe Rogan coming in, he was someone new building a brand.
Right.
She is a brand. So I mean,
Not out of the gate. And the thing about it is that Joe Rogan was all the time, you know, around people building a reputation, especially with his involvement in the whole MMA commentating.
I feel like he has a reputable show.
He's a stand-up comedian. You know what I mean? Like
he's good at what he does.
Right.
People respect him. He respects people. He don't pull punches. He don't sugarcoat, but he doesn't disrespect people.
Right.
So him having a show, but he's built to that. So is he worth 100 million? I'll give. I mean, if they have the money, iHeart Music or Radio has it to give it, then give it. Wendy, I'm sorry if you disagree with me, whoever may, but I would give it to her. I would from the door. Only thing is, she has to realize, like, if you accept this deal, you have to understand that the terms of this contract is you will not get an increase.
Unless it's a substantial viewership, you know, and because advertising.
She's going to have millions of viewers. She's going to have millions of views who are going to convert over into listeners. That's from the gate, and she's worth that.
And she can. And the thing about it is, like, even if she signs a deal, you know, she can easily record these sessions and put them up on YouTube. Those are hers,
exactly.
You know, and especially
well,
if she has her own channel,
there might be some type of clause in her contract where,
right,
you know, that's not the case, where she can't just upload the shows on her own personal thing. Yeah, with monetize, she can make money, but it's kind of like with the Wendy show, that doesn't necessarily belong to Wendy. It belongs to the Wendy show.
But you go to Joe Rogan's channel, it's Spotify Jones is up there, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, it's like, yeah.
But if she was smart, because at this point I'm convinced you watch our show, Wendy, because I've been saying for 3 weeks, just pivot into a podcast, and then all this news pops up that you're now eyeing a deal for a podcast. So now what I'm going to tell you to do is get someone on your team who will set up your Cameo for you. You do little cameos, you do your podcast. Whatever the health issue is with you, get that figured out so that way you can actually go out on tour. Because now your brand is different. Like, we're not seeing you as much or at all unless you're on YouTube. Then people want to see you in person now because you don't have a live audience anymore. Do a tour, whether it's with a podcast, write another book, sit down and do your comedy. I don't know. But yeah, it wouldn't be called stand-up comedy. It'd be called sit-down comedy. But along with this deal, and you guys, if you haven't been watching, or you've been living under the rock, or whatever the case may be with Wendy Williams, this is the Wendy Williams last season. This is the Wendy show last season. So the finale is coming up, and we know that Sherry Shepherd will have a show coming up that's going to replace the Wendy show. So Wendy did an interview with Fat Joe, and it came up. And instead of Wendy saying, "Oh, I'm so proud of her. I'm glad she stepped in and held it down for me.
Mhm.
When she came, we had the highest ratings. She's a
Mhm.
friend of mine. I love what she did on The View, what she does
Mhm.
in these movies. Her stand-up comedy is
Mhm.
amazing. Instead of Wendy saying that, she tried to
Mhm.
pull a Mariah and say, I don't know her. Because she's
Mhm.
like, oh, I would love to sit down with her. Sit down with Sherry and
Mhm.
meet her. She didn't say meet, she said meet her, as if she doesn't know who she is. So Wendy fronting.
Yeah, Sherry Shepherd's been a guest on the Wendy Williams Show,
And a host on the Wendy Williams Show. How in the world is the Wendy Williams Show and you don't know who your host is
or who's been on your show,
that you sat down and had a conversation with?
right?
Multiple times, by the way.
I get it that you had a whole bunch of shows and stuff like that, but like you not
Any one of
2020,
them.
you not 2020 numbers, you not Barbara Walters interview numbers.
No.
You know what I mean? Barbara Walters got an excuse to forget some of the interviews that she had. All right, lady been interviewing people since you know my grandmom was young.
I don't know about
So-
that because Wendy definitely got way more than I have in terms of interviews, and I don't remember everybody I've interviewed or who've interviewed me even. So it's very likely that somebody be like, oh, we should connect. So, yeah, it'd be nice to meet you. I'm like, wait, no, we met already. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? People they meet, but
I
it's
do
not
that.
just any
I
regular
do that
person
a
either.
lot. I
This
do
is
that a
Sherry
lot.
Shepherd,
I do that a lot, right?
who's
But
someone
yes.
that you said that you've watched on The View yourself,
right? And you knew her. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure y'all see each other out about whenever y'all in the same hood or
Right,
whatever.
right.
You know, because you make sure to talk about how you put yourself in these celebrity-fied situations and places and stuff like that, because that's where all the people are. It's where to be seen. All right. Yeah, I'm using Wendy talk. All right. So yeah. So she knew what she was doing. Like she knew what she was saying. She knew what she was doing. She knew who Sherry Shepherd was. She was just being a stone cold biatch.
Yeah, she's being a not so nice person. I think that at some point I should stop to acknowledge that we do have viewers on Facebook who are speaking. And again, your comments don't pop up on our YouTube or live our StreamYard. So I just want to acknowledge you guys over on Facebook. Continue to join the conversation. We're here. All right. So Wendy, let's take this a step further because again,
Right.
I mentioned this is the finale season and she has a finale show coming up. And her staffers, there are people on the Wendy staff who want to make sure that she's there for the finale show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to start by saying that would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I would love that for her. I probably wouldn't watch, but I sound like Wendy now because that's what she said about Sherry Shepherd. I'm not going to watch. No, realistically, I'm not going to watch.
Be at work that day, so
right? Yeah.
I'll catch the rerun. You know,
I'm not going to watch it, but I think for her brand, the show, like it'd be bad to have a finale show of your show when you're not even there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Wendy, I support that message for real. But what's the issue?
Yeah, so apparently there are folks who are not necessarily sure if that's possible. And the main thing that they're saying, actually, according to page 6, is that it's mainly Wendy that's making it seem unsure as far as like her communication and everything, because the staff is trying to do everything that they can and want to do everything that they can in order to bring her back. And according to page 6, a lot of the staff feels as though that is something that Wendy should do, especially in order to honor the staff, because of the fact that there was a good like 2 months where a staff of almost 125 people that work on that show did not know whether or not they were going to have a job or anything,
right?
And how long things were going to go and everything else like that. And so they feel like hey, this is your last hurrah. We want you to be here for all of this, and for us, and they're trying to make it happen, and they're trying to do all types of different scenarios and everything and plan it out, but they're not getting the cooperation from folks apparently.
Well, I support the message. I don't know who folks is at this point. Did I hear a rumor that her and her husband got back together or getting back together? No. I just started a whole new rumor, allegedly.
Yeah, no.
Allegedly.
No, but people's meaning, people's whose name is on the checks or the top of the or the marquee.
Yeah.
Making it difficult.
Her.
So yeah.
I.e. her. All right. So I'm sorry, I'm like moving multiple pieces at once, y'all. So I'm here though. I am here.
He is. So yeah, so that's what they're saying. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys want to see Wendy come back? Do you guys, feel as though that she deserves to come back, especially after everything that's going on? I mean, in football, the thing is that no one loses their job to injury, unless unless the guy that took your spot is Tom Brady, so so and Sherry Shepherd came in and did a Tom Brady thing. I mean,
Yeah,
is what it is. So yeah, so she lost her job due to injury. So if y'all think that's fair or not, let us know in the comments.
so I think that she should, again, I already said she should definitely come back for the finale show. My wish for her, regardless if she does pen a deal for a podcast show, if she does sit down with Sherry Shepherd and act like she knows her, that one, she gets back to health. Like, as we grow older, there's just certain things that we just lose. Health wise. I just hope that she gets to a stable, healthy place and find happiness with that. I've never been a huge Wendy fan, but she's human and she served our community for umpteen decades because that's what she did, whether it was to the detriment or the benefit of the community she has. I wish her well. That is my point. She's done a wonderful job being Wendy. What she has,
whatever that amounts to.
It amounts to a lot. She built a name. I agree. She should be able to walk into iHeartRadio and get $100 million on a podcast deal, a 10-year contract that would say that she does not get any increases unless you bring in a significantly larger. Like, it would have to be like, okay, you want $100 million, you got to bring it in 100 million listeners per show. Not even listeners, but subscribers. And then, you can talk about you bringing enlarging your yearly salary. I don't know. That's probably a really jacked up deal. But I'd be comfortable giving her that deal.
Because even to a bum, a busted, screened, broken iPhone is still a treasure.
Wow. Sometimes you just hit so low and so hard. Yikes. Anyway, talking about low and hard.
Yeah.
Have you guys subscribed to my... You're rubbing off on me.
Low and hard.
Stop it. You're rubbing off on me. No, that's not where I'm going with this. Let's move on to the next topic.
So,
I'm embarrassed.
Moving
Mom,
on to
I love
the
you,
next...
Mom. I'm sorry.
So, speaking of shows that could also be, lead to embarrassing moments, let's talk about Legendary. All right. So
wait, because somebody said it's still an iPhone.
Yes, it is still an iPhone, but it's also trash. So but speaking of things that's not trash, is Legendary. Legendary is a wonderful show.
It is. I enjoy that.
Great entertaining show.
Let me say this before you break it down, because we're on the third season, and
Right.
I may have mentioned this once or twice before.
Third season.
But I am not in the ballroom scene.
No,
I don't go to balls. I'm not a part of a house.
Mm-mm.
I, however, love Legendary, and like when I say like what we see on that show isn't like they just doing it for TV. These houses are so freaking talented with their costumes, and like they have people on set that does costume and makeup for them. But if you ever go to a real ball, the effects, the costumes, the pieces that they bring out are like, yo, why y'all not doing this as a profession for a living? So I'm glad that HBO Max gave this community a space to show what we do and what they do and what they can accomplish.
Because let's hope let's hope that the people that are in position now know that they have another avenue, you know what I mean, to look for creators and folks who can, do who have talent, who can contribute to the betterment of any industry, let it be entertainment, you know what I mean, or whatever. It should be definitely utilized as a different avenue to access to a different talent pool that they weren't necessarily utilizing. Whether or not it happens, that's not the case.
Right.
But I mean, we did get some inside
But-
information.
So
that-
before we even get into that,
yeah,
when you think about like the amount of people who came from Legendary in different
Mhm.
houses, and now they've gained such mainstream success,
right,
being themselves, being trans, being gay,
Right.
being queer,
right,
and the fact that they're celebrated in all these different places is, I
Right.
think, amazing. So again, very grateful for what Legendary is doing, or
Mhm.
HBO Max is doing through Legendary for that community. And I'm only separating myself saying that community instead of ours just because I'm not a part of the ballroom scene, although I know a lot of people. I'm
Mhm.
not in that scene, so I don't want to front like, oh,
and it's a community within the whole
Yeah.
greater LGBT community.
Yes.
That not all LGBT people are communicated or are necessarily connected to. So with that, we now know the houses,
yes,
all right, who are going to be competing. Now I don't know if y'all know the houses who are competing. If you knew before today, like, share, and subscribe, and let us know that you knew
ooh.
before today.
And
right.
so when we do this list as well, after we get done with the list, I want you guys to chime in and let us know if there's a house that you wish was on the show.
Right.
So let's make some noise for those houses as well. And
Yeah.
and there's been times where we've seen a house maybe on multiple seasons, but I don't think we got that going on this season.
No, we
So
don't.
let's jump into it.
All right. So the first house we have, which is a controversial house already. All right, is the House of Ada. And that's
ADA.
ADA. All right, Ada. All right, House of Ada. If you know the House of Ada, if you are a part of the House of Ada, represent in the comments.
Yes.
Like, share, and subscribe. All right.
And if you know anything about these houses, also once we get done, let us know which ones you think are on the slate this season.
Exactly. The House of Elaine Mickley. Mickley.
McLee.
Not
Milky.
Milky. Not Milky. Ooh. No, it's Elaine Mickley. All right. House of Elaine Mickley. All right. House of Alpha Omega. All right.
You are Alpha and Omega.
This one is, here we go.
We worship
Because every season we have to have a very French house
to be praised. I wasn't done my song yet.
Yeah,
I'm
go
done.
ahead. No,
I'm done. I'm done.
I was giving commentary underneath,
We give you all. It's
You know.
Sunday, y'all. What do I expect?
like on Boys to Men,
The glory.
where they have
We worship you, our Lord. I lost my
them
note. I'm gonna
talking
stop
in the
there.
background
You are worthy to be praised.
while everything's going, and they're singing.
So
But I'm
on
talking in the
Facebook,
soft.
someone said, I want my house on the show. I said, what's the name of your house? The name of his house is House of Sling Serious. It's been a while, right?
All right.
All right, go on. Next house after Alpha Omega.
All right. So we always have to have a French sounding house on every season because it's gay.
That's insulting.
This is like the French,
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, Gay Perry. All right. So yeah, House of Demure Versailles.
Expect to hear him do that
Demure.
every episode now.
Demure Versailles.
This is going to be a whole thing now.
Yeah. Like Miyagi Mugu.
That was wasn't there another one that you did? I feel like there was another one you made fun of. I can't. I don't know. Who knows?
It was always Miyagi Mugu.
If it comes to me, I'll bring it up.
All right, and then we have the first ever Kiki house to compete on.
Okay.
Legendary.
You can't just say that and not explain what a Kiki house is. Like,
so,
what's the difference between a house and a Kiki house?
So this is how I understand it. And again, all you ballroom and I do defer for. We're gonna get a correction from our resident ballroom guru. But all you other ballroom gurus out there, feel free to correct me in the comments down there. Yes. But for those people who are like me, all right, more jockish and more, and everything in their head, the Kiki scene is more like the minor leagues. Okay, Kiki meaning funny, haha, like not necessarily
so
serious,
junior,
but it is serious.
Yeah, because they take it very serious, and
Yeah.
I think that people in creativity is just as dope as the others.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is the junior side of it. Like you got the seniors and the juniors.
Yeah,
that's how I view it.
Yeah, this is the junior varsity. The Kiki scene is the junior varsity where you can go and explore and and sharpen your teeth, all right? Because you're a little ballroom cub.
But so now there's people who are in the Kiki scene that don't ever evolve to the mainstream
Because they have so much fun, apparently.
And all right, I'm not gonna get into the politics of it.
I don't know the politics of it.
I'm slightly aware of some of the politics.
I'm just entertained by it. So we have our first Kiki house, and it is the house of Juicy Couture,
which I've heard much about.
Yeah, that is a big Kiki house.
Yeah.
So and then we have the legendary House of La Beja.
Oh my gosh. So if you guys don't know about the House of La Beja, just take a trip back to Paris is Burning. When they say this house is legendary, like let's talk about the start of ballroom. House of La Beja.
Yeah.
Next, I ain't got much.
Then we have House of Light, Lyght.
Spell the name like I spell mine with a Y, not an I.
There we go. There we go. We got a house for you.
I just might have a pick here.
Look,
I might know, but they better come out swinging.
Yeah,
and knocking shit down.
You can't represent the Y for an I and not, you know what I mean?
Right, and not carry through. Come on.
Yeah.
So come out punching, knocking shit down, and then I'm claiming you.
Yeah. House of Machiavelli is next. Not the Tupac Machiavelli.
Well, Nicola. Well, it's not.
Hopefully, they mean the philosopher one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully. House of Revlon, which is a very big, very big
historic house
historic ballroom house as well. Yep. And then the House of Yamamoto. I was practicing that one,
and you still got
not as much as the other ones. So yeah, Yamamoto.
So these are the houses that are on the lineup.
I know that's not the words, but it felt like it went.
So this is the lineup for Legendary, which airs this Thursday. And I should have gotten the time. I still have not gotten the time, but we'll post it when we get ready to go live, or Stoney's going to find it now.
Yep.
Because it premieres on HBO Max. We are not sponsored by HBO Max.
Nope.
So yet. I probably will stop mentioning them until they do sponsor us.
Yeah.
And when we do our lives, we encourage everyone to tune in, watch it on your system or your platform, however you're watching it. Watch it with us and join us in the comments for reviews and things. And then we'll do our official reviews on Sundays.
Yep.
So now you guys get to see us twice in a week, at least while Legendary is going on. Did you see it?
I can't see the time.
It don't say.
Yeah, no.
It don't tell me the time.
Nope. Don't tell me the time. But I would assume it's like 7.
Oh wait, no. Go back. Go down. No, other way. I'm sorry. Go up. Sorry. Go up. Right there. Episode 1's 19th. So this is what's going to happen. On the 19th, they're releasing 3 episodes. And then on the 26th, they're releasing 3 episodes. On June 2nd, they're releasing 3 episodes. Is that 3? Yeah. And then June 9th, they're releasing the finale. So it's going to be a pretty short. Oh, it's not short, but it's compacting the way they're releasing it because it is streaming service. It's not like it's coming on live TV. So we're going to be able to watch 3 episodes at once. So what we'll do is figure out how we're going to do that because we're not going to do a 3-hour show.
No.
So we'll break that down for you guys.
We'll probably stretch it out.
Which also means that it'll probably be live at midnight or 3 a.m. Eastern time. And once they do that, we'll watch it Thursday night still.
Here on the damn
no, because that's probably what it is. Because it's streaming. If it says it's releasing on the 19th comes in at 12 o'clock at LA, it's released.
So in LA?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. That means 3 o'clock here.
Right. So we won't see it until Thursday night. As we prepare, we'll watch our first episode with you guys, and then we'll come back. Maybe we can't do it on Sunday too. We'll figure out the details and get back to you guys about that.
Yeah, we'll probably
But we definitely want to have you guys join us with this. I thought they was going to release it weekly, but they did
last year, but in the seasons in the past. But I guess
they pulled a RuPaul on us and switched things up.
Yeah.
So, did you tell me that RuPaul has a doll or a toy? Or
Fisher Price doll. Yep, look it up, folks. It is real. RuPaul has Fisher Price dolls. That now kids will be playing with little RuPaul dolls. America, I love it. It's awesome. It's great. and this is not me being sarcastic. I am really that is awesome.
I think when we get to celebrate people and their truth, that is always awesome.
Mm-hmm.
When we allow people to express themselves freely,
Mm-hmm.
that's what America is, the home of the free.
Now, whether or not they'll be on sale in Florida, I don't know.
Texas.
Okay, yeah, or Texas.
Yeah,
because they I think they're about to do the whole "don't say gay, mention gay, look gay, sound gay" type of thing going on in there. Even though we all saw Brokeback Mountain, so I know that.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I had to sit back for this part of the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm gonna take off.
So just as a warning to you guys, this is where the conversation we pivot a little bit and talk about world news as it stands in our country right now. Anyway,
right.
So we know that there's been a lot going on with the Supreme Court. I'm gonna say this for like the past how many years? 5?
Oh gosh, it's been
about
at
5
least,
or 6 years.
No, it's been at least like 30-40 years that they've been.
I just been paying attention for the past 5 or 6 years,
right? Because that's when it, But no, Roe v. The whole.
Well, I'm talking about the Supreme Court. Where I'm going back to is like at the end of Obama's presidency, when a seat opened up and they refused to allow him to put.
Oh yeah, that made this possible. Yes, that move by Mitch the bitch McConnell. Yeah.
And then
did that,
the 2 justices that were put in office during the last term,
mm-hmm.
and then the fight that was put up for the latest justice that was
the 3 justices that were put in the last term. People forget there were 3 justices put in. Yeah, he got 3. Yeah, because they stole
2.
1.
That's right.
And then
you're right. And 2 they had for right to seat 2 other people. You're absolutely right. And then they gave so much hell with this last one.
Well, they stole 1. He actually had 1, and then they rushed the 3rd one. So because there was an election coming up, and you got to have them seated before the election, unless it's the other way around.
You're right. Anyway.
So recently, what happened was in the past couple weeks, there was a leak. Okay, and what typically happens when a Supreme Court, and typically you hear nothing from the Supreme Court. Whenever they take up a case, they do what's called oral arguments. There where the folks go in, they present the evidence. The justices ask questions. They plead their case. And then typically after that, they may get called. You may get called back once or twice in order to answer some more pressing questions, or be summoned to the justices' particular chambers in order to discuss with them and answer their individual questions. It's a whole intricate process. When bringing a case before the Supreme Court, and one of the things that they do is they also deliberate amongst themselves. So it is, and they have discussions amongst themselves and argue amongst themselves the points and everything, because it is a deliberative body, and that's their whole purpose, and it's a vital function of how they do business for the country. And so and once they've deliberated, they render a ruling, and it is majority rules on the Supreme Court. So what's happening now is that there is, and the main thing is that there is a case that is going before the Supreme Court, where a state is basically saying that that life begins for a fetus after 6 weeks, and that's the thing. They want to prevent a woman's ability to get an abortion after 6 weeks is the big thing. And so to get a little bit more into that, in particular, the leak came from they don't know where the leak came from, but the leak was a opinion that was written by one of the Supreme Court justices, Justice Samuel Alito, who was appointed by George W. Bush. All right, so he basically wrote that he basically reversed the majority opinion, where Roe v. Wade, which is the case that established federal protections over a woman's right to privacy in matters of her health care, in particularly matters of abortion. Okay. And that's what it is. It's a privacy case. It's not necessarily you having the right to an abortion. Okay. And a lot of people get that confused about Roe v. Wade, because Roe v. Wade is not about abortion. It is about a woman's right to privacy. It's fundamental right of privacy, and having the ability to make certain decisions with their own body. It's not about abortion. It's just that abortion happens to fall under the purview of that in the eyes of the law. Okay. And that's what, that's the basis of Roe v. Wade. In that opinion, and it's a draft opinion, because what it is that once they have and the reason why it's so serious is because once the Supreme Court has a consensus, they basically, the people who are in the majority, they all go together and then they write a majority opinion. Okay. And then they decide on, whose opinion best sums up the majority opinion. Okay. And then they release that as the majority opinion. Same deal amongst the dissenting, justices. They look at, they each write a dissent, and then they decide whose dissent sums up the best dissent against the majority. And then they release that. That's why you get a majority opinion and a dissenting opinion, okay, in Supreme Court rulings, okay? And they're meant to be, guidance as to, whether or not this law can be revisited in later situations. And in previous times, when Roe v. Wade was held up, they kept poking holes in everything. Right. And so now they poked enough holes in it to where they can just jam stuff through. All right. And one of the things that, he brought into question, and not only did he not bring in, abortion, he brought a question of abortion, but it also brought into question a whole lot of other rights that we take, that we think are good and that we actually just got. And we're going to get into that. But I just wanted to, bring that up because I think that not a lot of people understand that whole case. They get all wrapped up in the whole abortion thing. Mm-hmm. And, I'm of the opinion that abortion should be safe, legal, and rare. Like Bill Clinton used to say back in the day, safe, legal, and rare. If it needs to happen, you know what I mean? But each situation is different. And I respect a woman's right to choose to be able to have one and not have one. It should be available to them if they choose to have that done. And it should be safe, and it should be safe, at the end of the day.
I think safe and legal are the two biggest things. The rarity of it,
right?
To me, it's like,
that's my personal
I don't
stance.
have a uterus, so I don't know what a person with uterus goes through to tell them how often they can or cannot. I don't know the circumstances. If it is somebody who is promiscuous and they just are not in a place to have a child, are they wrong for? Now, I know that this is among some people not a popular opinion. But that's why it's called an opinion. Okay, let's start with that. Secondly, I just feel like I don't have a uterus. Why am I telling a woman what to do with her body? Like, I don't want somebody telling me what to do with my body as a man. So why would I want to tell someone? Let's talk about relationship situations. So what did you call him last time? The Duke or something of the castle, whatever you called him. We have conversations like this all the time within our relationship about ownership and my right to tell my partner what they can or can't do with their body. If you are of legal age making decisions for yourself and you're making healthy decisions for yourself, hey, I'm doing unhealthy things, but the healthiest thing I could do in this unhealthy situation is not bring a child into this world. I think that that's that person's business and that's their right. And it should be a right, not something that is dictated to them. But I don't care if the person in charge making these decisions is a female. That's not your body. Let that person make a decision for their body. And, they got to think about economics. They have to think about mental health. They have to think about, being able to, some parents don't have it in them to be parents. And
yes.
And they say, oh, just put them up for adoption. Now you're bringing a child into this world to live a lifelong life of trauma. And I understand there's adoption situations where it's perfect. It's the best that could have happened to the child. I get that.
But in more cases than others.
Then the child is abused. And the statistics of a person who's raised in foster care ended up homeless, ending up like on drug. Like, I'm just talking about statistics.
you're more likely to have a worse outcome, to be honest with you, in life. Not saying that is, the case all the time.
No, it's not.
But you are more likely. The chances of you succeeding, are drastically lower when you're in the system, especially if you've been in the system all your life.
Right. And the older you get, the harder it becomes for that child. And God forbid, person's born in a family with multiple kids because they don't believe in abortions. And listen, I believe life is great. I don't know if there's such thing as being pro-life and pro-choice, but I believe that people should give life, and life is beautiful. Having a child is a beautiful thing, but I also think that it's everybody, the community, that community thing. It's our responsibility to make sure that this child has a good life, and if it looks like the mother is not there, she's extremely young, or the girl was raped, and now she's living through her own trauma. Now she has to raise a child that every time she looks at, she sees her assaulter
and this abuser. And that's the thing with the tone of the opinion that was leaked, is that it very much takes a tone of, no matter what. No, you know what I mean? Like, not in cases of rape or incest.
There's no circumstance,
or even cases where the mother's life is in danger.
Yeah, the mom can die. But see, this is the problem that I have with these arguments, because the same people who are giving us these arguments aren't protecting life that's already here. But you are sitting here talking about, once after 6 weeks after conception, then it's a life. Right. But there's life that's been here for 16 years or 20 or 30 or whatever, and they're too disposable to you. So what's really going on? Somebody tell me that.
Exactly, and that's the thing. You're forcing people to bring a child into the world, for one thing,
who's going to end up being on welfare at least the first couple of years of their life.
And you're banking on the fact that this parent is just going to have an epiphany and be able to find a good enough job in order to support this kid.
We're not even talking about the employment world now.
Yeah, like, and the just how hard it is to even find a job, not to even, and you got to figure it's going to affect people in areas that don't have regular access to basic services, because it makes no sense that someone in Mississippi is going to have to drive through Texas, through Nevada over to California in order to get an abortion. And it could be a situation where she like this girl can't have the kid because she's going to die if she has this kid, and like she took every precaution, because condoms is like condoms don't break, or anything, or diaphragms don't, fail, or even like all the other birth controls. There's no possibility of those failing.
I've been trying my best to not make it. I mean, it's already a political situation, but not to make it too political, not to make it racial. But we also understand, like, when it comes down to women of color, the mortality rate, dealing with pregnancies and giving birth is so much higher than that of our counterparts. Right. And then in a lot of situations, when stuff like that happens and the parent's body isn't healthy enough to even carry, then the baby ends up getting sick, and there's no guarantee that the baby's going to make it. So now you're putting both the baby and the parent at risk, because you just throw the parent away, and then the baby don't even make it. So it's like,
because we don't like this procedure. Okay. Yeah. No. It's again, no. People should, like I said, people should have the right to. In my personal opinion, my personal, feeling is that it should be rare, because I've but I defer to everyone's situation, because I believe in the right to choose.
So what makes it? So here's my problem when you say rare, and I know this is getting a little bit away from where you wanted to go with this conversation, but when you say rare, what's rare? Right.
Not like
define rare.
Not like, because I hear horror stories, and don't get me wrong, I don't believe them at all. You know what I mean? But when you hear a story about, homegirl around the corner having, 5-6 abortions, it's like 5-6.
Okay, Ian.
Like, I get where you're coming from, but still, it's like 5-6.
Why does that matter? How many abortions she's having with her body? Is she doing damage to her body? Possibly, more than likely.
Yeah, especially.
But guess what? That's
because
something
they all
that she
came
lives
before
with.
30.
That's her choice.
You know?
Which most times, when you're young and promiscuous, or like, mistakes happen, or whatever the case may be, the amount of times you go to the clinic to make sure that you stay alive or be healthy is up to you. How many? And I'm gonna just throw this out there as a journal. How many people have had to go to the clinic for an STI multiple times? Should that be rare? Maybe. Is it? No. Am I gonna say, oh well, you're just gonna have to burn because you already been here 5 times this month? No. Treat it. Take care of it. By the time she's 30, if she's really trying to get herself together and she can still have a child, let her. But that's her business. I don't think that it should be a matter of how many times, as long as it's safe and as long as it's legal. And the legal determines if it's going to be safe or not.
Again, like I said, my personal opinion.
I'm just trying to understand your opinion a little bit more. I have to challenge it because it doesn't make sense to me.
Because you're doing is because I get it that you are may not be in a situation. It's not about the life of it. Well, I'm not going to say it's not about the life of the fetus or anything else like that, because that's also important. But I'm more concerned about the damage that you're doing to your body, for one thing.
That's their choice.
And then also, you then regretting being in a situation where you regret, because of the fact that you were young, wild, and free, and now that when you're in a position where you want to be more responsible and you want that opportunity, you don't have it no more.
What if there's a woman who is in her late 30s, early 40s, she's married with a career, her and her husband both have a career, they already have 2 or 3 children, and they can no longer afford
I don't see no issue with
more
that.
Children.
I don't see no issue with that, because that was a decision amongst 2 parents, right, who made a decision based off of their quality of life as well as the quality of life of the lives that they are already responsible for.
Right.
And if they cannot support another life, then that is their right. That's their right.
And I feel like that's just as equal as the single single woman who is not in a relationship. She doesn't have any kids. She's still either trying to go to school.
I agree.
Or she's
I'm not saying
to
that
work
I don't
as
agree.
So my point is, so what if this couple says, you know what? We're not going to stop having sex raw. We're married.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I just found out, someone told me the other day that she was charged out of pocket money because her insurance would not cover her to get her tubes tied.
Yeah, no, yep.
So
and I work in the health insurance world, so yes, there are
as a grown woman, as a woman, period, you should have that choice to listen. This is going to mess up my life. Now, if the child is here and then I abuse it, then hold me accountable for that, because that's a responsibility. That's a mouth I have to feed. That's this, and then now that's murder. That's a body, a soul. It's like, that baby has not entered this world technically. So I know there's different arguments, there's different ways to look at it. Again, my opinions. I encourage people to challenge them, because that's how we learn and grow. So if you have an opposing view, please share it. I'm open to hearing it. But I just feel like it doesn't. I or the government, because it's not just men in the seats having these conversations that are agreeing to overturn Roe v. Wade. So we don't want, because that's the first argument. A man shouldn't be choosing for a woman's body. But let's be clear, there are women making these decisions as well. That's going to affect the entire country.
Right. And it's not just but the thing about it is that everybody just focuses on the abortion thing. The thing about it is that it's not like that's just the start, okay? In part because if you and the opinion is out there, you can go ahead and read it for yourself, and you don't have to be a legal expert, you know what I mean, in order to read the tea leaves and everything else, especially if and if you can Google the names of the cases that are referenced in the opinion. And the thing about it is that Justice Samuel Alito basically says that abortion or the right to or the federal protections on abortion are made up. They're not enshrined within the Constitution. They were never meant to be enshrined in the Constitution. And the only way they can get enshrined in the Constitution is if Congress decides to pass a bill that makes this legal, and that's what it's saying. But other than that, any judgment it has no standing on it. Right? He calls it basically a made up right. Okay, and not just Roe versus Wade. Okay, he calls into account the famous Plessy versus Ferguson case. Okay, which basically protected interracial marriage.
Right.
Okay, I forgot what the guy's name was, but it was the state of Texas versus some guy. All right, and that case established the fact that government cannot control what goes on in your bedroom. Okay, because the guy was being prosecuted for sodomy. Okay, because sodomy was illegal in the country. Okay, you could not have butt sex. All right, let's be real. Whether you were a guy, girl, whatever, didn't matter. Butt sex illegal. All right. So, and that is wrong. How dare you tell me what can go on behind my closed doors?
Right.
And then that leads to, and that case right there also, established and afforded the protections that we enjoy as far as that granted us marriage equality. Okay, because he called that into question too, also equating that to made up rights. All right, that are not enshrined in the Constitution and was never meant to be enshrined in the Constitution. And Justice Alito is what they call a constitutional purist. Okay, meaning that he believes that what the founding fathers meant for the Constitution to be was how they wrote it and who they wrote it for. All right,
that's the part,
and that's the thing. Okay,
that's it.
The thing about it is that the Constitution and the thing that a lot of folks forget is that, and the founding fathers and even Thomas Jefferson himself makes this perfectly clear in all the writings and everything else that we have on them, is that the Constitution itself is meant to be a living document in order to wrap the country in whatever at any moment that it needs it to. Okay,
yeah, it has to be.
Hence why they made the whole thing about amending the Constitution, putting that process in. If it was meant to be taken the way it was, they would not have put in the mechanisms in for it to be amended. Okay, they would not have amended it. Right. Right. They did many times. In order to make it fit the country that the idea of America that we feel is the best form of America, and that's the thing. And people take it like, no, the best form was when it was written. No, it was not. Right? Well, they knew that.
Yeah. It's funny how they knew. Well, I think the people today know that as well, but they like to manipulate it in a way. It's like the Bible thumpers who manipulate the Bible to beat somebody over the head or to persecute or oppress someone. It's the same practice. They're just using the Constitution that way because, like you said, there's been plenty of amendments, and even in how some of the amendments were written with loopholes and the whole things already in there for you to manipulate and weave in and out of certain things easily. Especially if you know the law and you know the Constitution, it's nothing to just say, okay, well, this is what it says, but this is how I can turn it around. That's what this is. And what was it? There was another argument about the way a citizen could persecute. Wait, no, I want to get it right.
Oh yeah. So
prosecute.
So a person and basically it's a law in Texas where you can. A regular person can sue a doctor for doing abortions.
But no, some type of law that says, well, that gives the state the right to choose. So if the state decides, someone in the state decides that, oh, this is wrong, I can take you to court for it. It was like, okay, maybe constitutionally we can't put this into law, but we can give the rights. But in the scope of I'm using this as an example. We don't like gay marriage. So because it's happening in my town, my township, I'm going to file a police report. I'm just giving an example because it infringes on my rights. It pretty much is what it's saying. You're infringing on my rights to not do it because you're doing it now. I'm gonna prosecute you. I'm gonna press charges against you for living your life and making me feel like it's the stupidest thing in the world to me, but it's also very clever.
Yeah, no,
because that's a loophole is written. Oh, it was the critical race theory thing that I want to get it right, so I'm gonna stop talking about it too much. But there is a loophole with this, like what can be taught in our schools. So we think you're teaching this, so we want to give you hell.
Yeah.
Or you're getting an abortion.
That's kind of sort of like with the whole don't say
gay bill. Yes.
Like, yeah, that's why I said, well, I don't know if those RuPaul dolls will be in sale in Florida, right? Because the simple fact of the matter is that how you can't, like, say a little kid brings these to a school and the teacher can't talk about them because you can't talk about RuPaul without mentioning
a man dressing up as a woman.
Yeah, and talking about, you know, gay things, and that leaves the door open for any, you know, Bible thumping, you know, parent to be like, oh, you're trying to corrupt my kid, and then the teacher has to get fired and everything else like that. And it's all,
you know what scares me?
It's all connected, to be honest with you. It's all connected.
Let me tell you something that scares me. The fact that if I was flying on JetBlue, and all of the flight attendants were homophobic, I could form a coalition of people to protest against JetBlue. We're going to boycott them, or we're going to hold them accountable. Different states can jump and says, well, hey, that's wrong. Until you do that, we're going to impose sanctions on you, or we're not going to allow you to, like, we're going to hurt you economically for having this opposing view of what the American people want. But when it's the government doing it, how do you even begin to? Because
a majority of Americans, you know, this like the latest poll, around 68, between 63 and 68%, all right, of Americans feel as if abortion should be safe and legal. Okay, they want safe and legal abortion. Okay, because it's an option. Again, when it comes to healthcare, you know, Americans like options. We want to have all the options on the table in order to make the best decision in order for our health care. And the thing about it is, like, we're telling people, no, you can't make this decision. Right. No, you cannot make this decision. Or, but once they strike, if they strike it down, it's going to be terrible, because it's going to be very similar to the confusion that people had when, especially here in Philadelphia, because we were the last major city to, you know, we were the last major city to pull our mask mandate, and then we reinstated it for like 2 whole weeks. Yeah. Right. And then took it back, and there was a lot of confusion going around as far as when can I wear a mask? When do I not wear a mask? Do I have to wear a mask? I got 3 shots. I got 2. Right. Do I need you know? It was a whole bunch of confusion, and especially when traveling too. You know, it was very crazy.
Oh my gosh, that was so weird. Like, I'm talking about 2020, because I did some traveling in 2020. And I got to one of these cities, and it was like, pandemic where? Yeah, and that's how it's going to be. But you know, because you're going to have, like I said, you're going to have a girl driving from Mississippi all the way to California in order to get an abortion. Case in point, where there are states that legalize marijuana and decriminalize, and then states that have not. And now you have places like, okay, you can't, even though it's decriminalized, it's not legal in Philadelphia. So there's still very many limits to what can and cannot happen with public smoking, consuming it, possessing it, stuff like that. Whereas go to Jersey, which is a 20-minute ride from me right now, and all of that's legal. So it is an issue of, like, that's what's going to happen. And like you said, if somebody's in middle America and they're in a situation, they got to make that trek all the way to New York or to California. So yeah. So interestingly, it is 6 o'clock. We were 3 minutes behind because we started the show. Didn't realize that we didn't hit live yet. Yeah. So that introduction you saw was the actual. Because we had a practice. We had a whole practice, right? And we thought it was real. One. We were selling it too. Yes, we were. It was amazing. Yeah. But that's how I knew to do the little eyeglass thing when you put yours on, because I was like, we did this already. Yeah. But what I would like to say to you guys is make sure that you guys go to my website, not the King of Porn, KevinM.com. And you can go to that one too. Well, you know, I actually own that domain, but I don't have anything on it. But you can always go order the book right there at KevinM.com. Yeah. Wait, I'm supposed to be announcing it while you're doing the So if you guys want to know more about me beyond, you may have seen my documentary, The Way to Kevin, but this goes so much deeper into my story, the people in my life, my family, friends, dating as a porn star, living with HIV, being a spokesperson for that, working in HIV field, as well as some really spicy, juicy sexual situations that's happened in my life, and how a life of lust influenced me. You want to get this book. The book is $24.99 plus shipping and handling. order your book today. We will send them out tomorrow. But you got to order them today so they can get out in the mail tomorrow. So go ahead and order that. Also, it is my birthday month. And it being my birthday month, it'd be a great treat to see all the support that I get from you guys for ordering this book, as well as the comments that I've received and the messages and the encouragement, the reviews on Amazon, all of that great stuff. Keep it going. I love it. I appreciate you guys so much. The other thing I want to bring up real quick is Tuesday night, the cocktail hour. Yeah, you can do that. Tuesday night, we got the cocktail hour with King Kevin. This week, I have recording artist, The Voice contestant, Julian King, joining me here. So make sure you guys watch 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Right here.
Right here. And if you guys want to go back, not only can you watch the Cocktail Hour previous episodes, but Stoney and I on the GreatMines Show, I have a whole playlist set up just for the GreatMines Show because I know how much you guys love hearing our conversations, our banter back and forth. We entertain, we educate, and we empower.
Power.
All on this show. And it's all in our playlist for the GreatMines Show. So make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube.
Yes.
Subscribe to, well, actually on Facebook, you don't have to subscribe.
No.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans. I'm not upset about you subscribing to my OnlyFans.
Yes, subscribe to the OnlyFans. It is a wonderful, wonderful.
I know
wonderful
that's
place.
part of the reason why most of you. No, I'm saying most of you, but a lot of people watch.
Yeah.
Watch us because of the OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And the work that I put out. So hey,
we say it in the beginning of the show. All around to see the crowd
that hangs from 2 inches from the ground. I messed it up, but you get the point.
Yeah.
All right, it's
they want the point.
Oh, shut up. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this. We'll be back next Sunday. Join us this Thursday for our watch party for Legendary on HBO
right
Max,
here.
But it's going to be right here on our YouTube and
Yep.
Facebook through StreamYard.
Yep.
Love you.
Buy your tickets. Columbus Melanin Pride.
Yes.
September.
Oh, thank you.
Coming.
Thank you.
Buy your tickets now.
So Kingfinity created this shirt, Dream Bigger. I love it because one of my things I say in a lot of my quotes is dream big, stay positive, dream big, and manifest bigger. And their thing here is dream bigger. And on this, they're highlighting a lot of LGBTQ individuals who have influenced culture in our time. And they have my name on this shirt. Wait. I'm on your shirt.
Yep, he's on there.
I'm right there. They got my name right there.
There you go. Bam!
I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah.
He's on a t-shirt, folks.
The past couple of shows I wore a shirt with my face on it. So I'm on a couple of t-shirts at this point.
Yeah. One that's not his face.
The other day my shirt was on the
or the other face.
Wait. The other day my shirt was on the couch and somebody sat on my face.
Oh. I bet that face was happy.
They didn't sit on the couch, it was on the bed. Anyway, love you guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank y'all for coming. God bless you. Good night.